Hello, hello, hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Barbara Maheshwari of Remote Bob. Barbara, it's awesome to have you on the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No problem. Super excited to have you on. Hopefully, I didn't butcher your last name too badly. And before we jumped in, I wanted to read a little bit more about Barbara. And Barbara is currently building the biggest virtual assistant hub in Europe, Remote Bob. She is a go-to market consultant working across the UK, UAE, Croatia, and India. Barbara was the youngest graduate from the Executive MBA school in Cotrugli, and she is passionate about helping people in building businesses. Barbara, are you ready to speak to the IMCO community?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, let's do it then. So, to kind of kick everything off, I wanted to rewind the clock a little bit and hear a little bit more on how you got started. Could you take us through your CEO story? We'll let you get started with all the awesome work you're doing.
Yes. Actually, when I was 17, I was on my own. I was doing 4 jobs. I was selling ice creams, and I was just watching these movies and thinking how one day that will be me. And then my first company was in event management. I was just at the right place at the right time. I had a friend who got a job for Coca-Cola. She was working as brand manager, and she was telling me that she is feeling so overwhelmed because she has to organize 60 events in the summer, and there was no event management agency in our region, like on the coast of Croatia. So I just started helping her out, organizing events, just to be a good friend. And then I registered page on Facebook, and all big brands from capital were desperate to get any agency on the coast because it was like a hot tourist season. So they had many events, and it was really expensive and complicated to send people from capital. So basically, in first 30 days, I got big contracts with brands like Johnny Walker, Smirnoff, Captain Morgan. I even did one event for Ernst and Young. We did some events for like European Parliament. So I hired around 60 people in 1 month.
Nice.
And that's how it all started. And ever since then, I've been launching businesses, growing businesses, and consulting other business owners.
Nice. I definitely appreciate that. Sounds like you're a serial entrepreneur. You kind of have that fix and that bug, and you keep, running with that. But I love how the organic part of, everything that you started. I think so many times, if we go through the things that we're passionate about, or we see problems and we solve them, sometimes for those around us, it starts to kind of snowball into other opportunities that we have as well, too.
Yeah, I agree. I think when we are passionate about something, when we are not actually doing it for money, that's when things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to drill down a little bit more and hear about Remote Bob. Could you take us through a little bit more about what you're doing with your clients there and how you serve them?
Yes. So it started when I was working as go-to-market consultant. I was helping founders to set up their business to grow it faster. And I noticed that actually most of them, they know what they have to do, but they all have the same problem, lack of time. It's simply like not so many hours in a day. You end up dealing with suppliers, with admin, with forms, with contracts, invoices, searching for speaking gigs, generating leads, and then in the end, you get like 1 hour left for business strategy and for things that directors should be doing. So I decided to start. Initially, I was trying to find just someone reliable to handle these things for myself, and then I realized there's nothing like that on the market. I just decided to start Remote Bob and train these virtual assistants to be able to do everything that the startup needs to grow. So now we are helping our clients to focus on their core business while we are handling all these repetitive admin and marketing tasks. And at this point, we have 2 services. One is dedicated VA, basically just your go-to person for variety of tasks like that Donna from Suits. And our second service is fixed growth packages. So if you don't have time to delegate, you don't want to be in touch with your assistant on a daily basis. You just want to come to us and say, I want to improve like engagement of my social media pages, and we already have action plan, pre-made packages. You'll get reports about results every Friday. So it's quite convenient for early stage startups.
Nice. I definitely appreciate that. I often say, it's not the number of hours you have, it's how you leverage them. And as you said, like, I think so many times as business owners or startups, you're trying to do all of the things and hold on to all of the things. But I think really understanding as quickly as possible, like, what your core competency is, what your zone of genius is, and leaning more on that, and being able to have like a great team, like you've been able to kind of help, build and create to be able to get those things done, so that you don't have to give up either, or you can do both and do it very, very well.
I agree. Only when we delegate everything else, we can actually be focused and excel in our business.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, what would you consider to be what I call your secret sauce, the thing you feel kind of sets you apart and makes you unique? It could be yourself or your business, or a combination of both.
Well, I feel the main difference is usually when you get a virtual assistant, you have to tell them exactly what to do and how. With us, it's enough just if you tell us your goals and we already have action plan. We already know exactly what to do, when and how, and you'll just start getting results. And then on top of it, most other virtual assistant agencies are just doing matchmaking. They connect you with a VA. In our case, we also have a project manager who is supervising them and making sure that they are on the track, that everything is delivered on time within the highest quality standards. So usually when you get someone, you still have that feeling like, do they understand the task? Are they on track? I have to check, I have to follow up. How is it going to look like? In this case, we like remote Bob is guaranteeing that it will be done. If that we can't handle it, we will sort it out. So it's kind of that safety net that you are getting.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to like a lot of times when, sometimes people say, oh, just, hire a virtual assistant, and not realizing that there's, different levels, I guess, to hiring a virtual assistant. And I think that you spoke to one of those aspects that a lot of people don't realize that they have to do, which is to check and make sure somebody's doing the work, or also training the person. So I love that you kind of, when you built everything, understood like those are some of the pain points that people have when bringing on, team members or delegating, and you decided to build that directly in, so they don't have to, those leaders don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we were doing market research. Most of our potential clients were saying, well, I have so many things to do and I have so many things that I would like to delegate, but simply it feels that it would took longer to explain someone what exactly is that I need. So that really got us thinking how to fix that problem. And that's why we did everything in such a small details, that even those clients that are used to micromanage and have everything under control can still be happy with the service.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. I'm sure a lot of people who have had, a hire that maybe didn't go as well as they would have hoped have said, why don't I just do it myself? Since I have to, tell you how to do it and then redo it, you being able to kind of understand that, hear that, do that market research, and to present a solution is absolutely huge. So definitely appreciate that. And so I wanted to switch gears a little bit, and I want to ask you for what I call a CEO hack. So this could be like an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but what's something that makes you more effective and efficient?
I would say it's just the persistency and resourcefulness. I have strong belief, and my favorite quote, that there is only one difference between successful and unsuccessful people. Unsuccessful people fail and give up, and successful people fail and try again. So I think many people, when they are starting business, they are thinking, oh my God, what if it doesn't work out? It will be a huge disaster. My self-confidence will be ruined. Well, actually, they should be thinking, well, if it doesn't work, I have to pivot and find a different strategy to make it work. And do that as many times as you have to until you make it a big success. So I think just doing that and having these small celebrations after we land some big client, after we get a big press release, like celebrating and keeping that energy and enthusiasm going.
Yeah, I love that. And I appreciate that quote. And I think so many times people, have the wrong, I guess, perception of failure, and not realizing that the people that become successful because of failure, because they have those experiences, they learn from them, they pivot, as you said. And I think I read a quote, I think it might have been Robert Kiyosaki. He said that I found out that 9 out of 10 businesses fail, so I decided to start 10 businesses. And when you start to have that mindset and you understand that it's only going to give you more knowledge and information to get bigger and better, and as long as you're drilled in on like, I'm going to be successful, you're going to find a way in order to make that happen.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
Nice. And so I wanted to ask you now for what I call a CEO nugget. So that could be a word of wisdom or piece of advice. It might be something you would tell a client, or if you hopped into a time machine, you might tell your younger business self.
I would just say never doubt yourself. I think every one of us reaches that point where you are thinking like, do I need this in my life? Why am I working 16 hours a day? Like all founders that I know are doing that, are going to through that stage, and they feel that they are alone, that it was something that they did wrong. But I think that's just part of entrepreneurship, and that's just standard package. So I think it's important to remember, if you reach that stage, just keep going.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I love how you said standard package, because I think so many times, a lot of people, especially when they start stuff, they don't necessarily realize that. And I think that's to their detriment, because if you understand that it is standard package, this is part of the process. While it definitely does, become frustrating and suck, when it's happening, I think if you understand that's part of the process, you know that once you get on the other side, then, success will follow, and you have those opportunities to kind of grow and get better. But I think if we don't remind ourselves of that, we don't really understand that as part of the process, then, a lot of times people stop before they get the opportunity to see that success.
Yeah, and also I think focusing on opportunities. And I mean, it sounds silly, but usually people are saying, well, investor told me that I need to develop software, but I don't have enough funding to hire developers. And people see it as, oh my God, it's an obstacle, but you should actually focus on opportunities. Maybe you can get a co-founder that can develop the technology for you. So I think like accepting no for an answer should not be part of your strategy, just like finding a way always somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there was a quote that I heard that said, I don't need to increase my resources. I need to increase my resourcefulness. And that's finding those ways, finding those opportunities that you said so well of how to make it happen, whether it be partnering with somebody, finding an intern or something like that. But you just kind of roll up I guess your brain sleeve, so to speak, and then you go to work and try to figure out whatever strategy can make that come to fruition.
Yeah, believing in yourself and believing that everything is possible, and then we will actually attract that in our life.
If you believe it's possible, then you can definitely make it possible. So definitely appreciate that. And so now I wanted to ask you my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on the show. So Barbara, what does being a CEO mean to you?
For me, it's a lifestyle, and I think it's the only job in the world where you can do different things every day. It's like having completely different job every day. One day you are dealing with finance, one day you are dealing with marketing, one day you are writing copy for your new commercial, one day you are hiring people or firing them or managing them. Like, it's crazy. I would say it's not even a job, it's a lifestyle.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. And, as you talked about that passion piece, especially if you're really passionate about what it is that you're creating or creating anything in general, as most entrepreneurs are, they start to see opportunity after opportunity. I think it becomes that lifestyle that you talked about. And it's not something that, you necessarily do. It's something that is who you are. It's like part of your being. And I think when you start to really step into that and you understand that, again, it gives you that opportunity to kind of continue to create, continue to kind of see what you can do better, and just kind of snowball from there.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, Barbara, truly appreciate that definition, and I appreciate your time even more. What I wanted to do is just pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional you can let our readers and listeners know, and of course, how best they can get a hold of you and find out about all the awesome things you and your team are working on.
They can just visit our website, Remote Bob. If they submit contact form and mention the name of your podcast, they'll be entitled for some special deals.
Nice. Well, I definitely appreciate that. We will have the links and information in the show notes as well too, to make it easier for everybody. But definitely appreciate you, Barbara, for all the awesome work that you're doing, your time today, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Have a brilliant day.